President Bola Tinubu today departs Abuja for a 10-day Europe trip on a working leave. Chieftains of the African Democratic Congress, ADC, in the Northwest region have condemned the attack on the meetings of their leaders in Kaduna. Hello everyone, welcome to the program. This is Politics Today, live on Channels Television. I am Sean Kimale here in Abuja. Let's begin by letting you know that President Bola Tinubu has left the country. The president, through his media aide, today told the country that it will go on a 10-day working leave in Europe. It's going to be in France and in the UK before returning into the country. There are concerns that have been made over security situation in the country, and that gets us talking tonight. So sit tight, everyone, because we will get started in a while. But before then, let's check out some of your political roundup stories. All right, let's tell you what happened in Kaduna today when the chieftains of the African Democratic Congress, ADC, were met, and they were troubled by the attack on their meeting in Kaduna, and they have condemned, asking that there should be a probe into that attack. Some of those who are present in that meeting include the former governor of Kaduna State, former governor of Kaduna State, Nasir El-Rufai, former governor of Sokoto State, Aminu Tambuwa, amongst others, in the northwest region of the country. Let me allow you to listen to what they said after that meeting.
The ADC Northwest leadership unequivocally condemns this cowardly, undemocratic, and criminal attack on our peaceful members. This is not just an assault on the ADC. It is an assault on the democracy itself. Our members were lawfully gathered to carry out a legitimate political function, exercising their constitutional right to freedom of association under sections 39 and 40 of the 1999 Constitution as amended. To unleash thugs on innocent citizens simply because of their political choice is an unacceptable, intolerable, and shameful behavior. The perpetrators of this cowardly act and their sponsors are well known to the security agencies. The questionable conduct of security agencies, particularly the Nigeria Police Force, during and after the incident is troubling. Instead of protecting lives and property, the police were slow to act, and the report suggests they aided the attackers rather than restrain them. We demand their immediate arrest and prosecution.
Let's now listen to the former governor of Kaduna, Nasir El-Rufai.
Attacked, our rights violated, and our voices suppressed.
What was planned was that the Northwest ADC leaders will come and visit Northwest Kaduna to commiserate with us for the incident of Saturday. And we're going to have that visit in our party zonal office. The police commissioner wrote to say that we should not have that. He knows what he's writing violates the Constitution. So they went ahead to try to obtain a court order. This morning he invited the National Vice Chairman Northwest and waved a piece of paper claiming that they have obtained a court order stopping us from having that meeting. We have not seen the court order. it has not been properly served on us, because even if there is a court order, there is a legal process to serve an affected person. It has not been served on us. But as responsible leaders, we had the choice of going there to have our meeting. Nobody can stop us. We are within our constitutional rights. But as responsible leaders, we decided that even though we have not seen the order, we believe the Commissioner of Police, because we don't believe a Commissioner of Police could be lying.
Malam Nasir El-Rufai, former Kaduna State Governor, at that meeting of the Northwest leaders of the ADC. Apparently, they are very unhappy about the situation in relation to the attack of a few days ago on their meeting in Kaduna. Our attention tonight is on security. What is the government of the day doing? And we're going to be dissecting a lot of things. Tonight's program is not like your usual program. Our own focus and agenda tonight is totally different from the norm, what you always hear. And we're going to take you right into the scenarios that are happening in Nigeria's security landscape. Sit tight, everyone. But before we get into it, we're now ready for our political roundup story.
The federal government has restated its commitment to addressing poverty and unemployment in the country. As the Secretary to the Government of the Federation, Mr. George Akume, flags off the Phase 2 of the Renewed Hope Employment Initiative in Abuja. According to the Secretary to the Government of the Federation, the federal government is determined to tackle Nigeria's unemployment and reduce poverty through skill acquisition and employment.
As we flag off the second phase of the Renewed Hope Employment Initiative today, let it be known that this administration will not relent until the scourge of unemployment is tackled head-on, until poverty is rolled back, and until every Nigerian has a fair chance to live a life of dignity.
The All Progressives Congress APC in Zamfara State has dismissed former Senator Kabir Marafa's claim that he could deny President Bola Tinubu 1 million votes in the 2027 elections, describing him as a rejected politician seeking relevance. In a statement by its state chairman, Tukur Damfulani, the party says Marafa's statement is baseless, describing him as a rejected politician seeking relevance. It stated that the former lawmaker was voted out of the Senate in 2019 and, quote, could not even win his constituency, end quote, in the 2023 elections. The Zamfara State chapter of the African Democratic Congress ADC coalition has petitioned the party's national leadership over what it described as a failure to announce the results of 2 positions democratically elected in the Northwest Caucus meeting. According to the state chairman of the coalition, Alhaji Yusuf Said, 20 delegates from Zamfara State participated in an election held on the 27th of July 2025 in Abuja, where Mr. Mikailu Ibrahim Barao was elected as Deputy National Organizing Secretary and Amina Ilyasu as Deputy National Women Representative of People with Disabilities. However, Mr. Said said the election official failed to announce the outcome at the venue, prompting the state chapter to submit a petition dated 20th August 2025 to the party's national headquarters with a 14-day ultimatum for action. The governor of Bauchi State, Bala Mohammed, has inaugurated a 34-member Interfaith Peace Committee comprising imams and clergymen, tasked with sensitizing citizens on peaceful coexistence in Tafawa Balewa and Bogoro local government areas. During the inauguration, Governor Mohammed said the recent farmer-herder clash in the axis is a deliberate attempt to cause disharmony and warns that the state government would not allow any individual or group to disrupt the peace.
To build upon the efforts we are making, government found it expedient and timely to liberate the influence and standing of our religious leaders, to sensitize our citizens on the need for harmony and peaceful coexistence as a panacea for our collective growth as a people.
To Kogi State, where Governor Usman Ododo is asking Nigerians to support the administration of President Bola Tinubu to enable him address the economic challenges facing the country. Governor Ododo stated this in Lokoja, the Kogi State capital, during the flag-off of disbursement of conditional cash transfer scheme to female students under the Adolescent Girls Initiative for Learning and Employment, Agile project.
Thank you so much, everyone, for staying with us. There you have it. You've been served with your political roundup stories. So let's get into the heart of the matter. Now, it is said that governors are the chief security officers of their state. But over the last few years, governors have consistently come out to say they're just mere. They're not, the name that they're being called is not really what they do. There's some of them just disburse money to security agencies to do their jobs. They don't have real powers over these security operatives. And one of those frustration is what we saw in an interview said to be a media chat by Governor Lawal of Zamfara State and a local media in the state, where the governor was expressing his frustration as to how security fight is being stalled because they have to wait for directives from Abuja. He says in part of the statement attributed to him, he said, "I can tell you the whereabouts of every bandit kingpin in Zamfara. Even with my phone, I can point to you where they are right now, but I do not control security agencies, and that is a problem." When the governor went further to say that it is frustrating for him that I know, but we cannot do nothing. If I am the one in power to give the directives, I swear the issue will come to an end in 2 months. Everyone wants this to end, but the kind of statement coming from a governor of the state who says, in fact, he went further to say at some point, some of these bandits have been sighted. They're supposed to be attacked, picked up, and quarried. But they got directive to do otherwise. What exactly where are these directives coming from? Let's speak with someone who is in the know and being joined tonight by a former military officer. Tonight, our engagement is going to be more of an intellectual, practical, and forward-looking conversation about the problems of insecurity in this country. Group Captain Sadiq Shehu is live for us here in our program. Thank you so much for joining us tonight.
Thank you very much, Shehu.
It's good to see you.
Thank you.
Can you give us an assessment? And you will see, in fact, one thing that gladdens my heart is the effort we see on the part of the NSA. You see quickly that communication has improved compared to years ago. Now, we see people who have been kidnapped, released, and we see their families standing by them at the NSA office, and the process of the operation is being explained. That's on one hand. On the other hand, I see the effort of DSS. DSS has been in court. I mean, there are those who saw DSS as not very civil in the past. But DSS now looks very civil. They now go to court. They prosecute. You see the effort in Yawata attack. We have seen suspect in court. The investigation wrapped up quickly. Efforts to pick up those who are linked to it, taken to court under Oluwatosin Ajayi, the DG of the DSS, and Nuhu Ribadu in the NSA on the other hand. There are some... and I would say, I'm an outsider. You are an insider. You understand what is going on.
Outsider.
Say that again.
I'm an outsider.
And we've had conversations as to how scattered intelligence community is and how disorganized. But you see that hardly would you hear that people complain now that there is a disorganization or disunity within the intelligence community. It looks to me that a lot has improved. However, we still have a lot of challenges. In your own view, as an expert in the field, not just because you served in the military, but you still have your hand in the saddle as far as intelligence gathering is concerned. What would be your appraiser of the security situation in the country as of now?
Well, thank you very much. When you say an appraisal, you have to look at where we came from and where we are now and where we wish would have been. Now, compared to where we are now, we can say, yes, there are slight improvements, like you said, in synergy that we are seeing, whether it is in the intelligence agencies or even within the military itself, the Army, Navy, and Air Force. We see a lot, and again, in combination with the other security agencies like the police, like the DSS, civil defense, and so on and so forth. However, again, a measure of internationally, when you are measuring how secure a country or how peaceful a country is, the indices that stare you in the face is number of people killed, number of people injured, number of people kidnapped, or number of attacks that have happened. Unfortunately, when you look at those numbers, we'll see that there is not much difference from what we have before and what we have now. That is my own honest assessment. I did an op-ed where I said that as far as the Tinubu administration is concerned, I will score them like about 40–45% on security. So, like you said, it's a marathon. It's not a dash. So definitely there are areas that can be improved, as we are seeing from the reports we are receiving.
When you hear someone like Nasir El-Rufai saying it has become a state policy to reward bandits, what is the propriety of that kind of statement?
Well, these are politicians making their statements. As much as possible, when I'm discussing security, I remain where I have my subject expertise. That is security, not necessarily, politics, where I'm a novice. I'm not.
The reason I'm asking you this question is that can it be a policy of government, a policy of the state, where bandits are being paid? One is curious. I mean, we're talking about security, and as a former governor, there will be a lot of information available to him. And when he said that these guys are only calm and quiet only because they are being paid and serviced.
Okay, Shewan, I would like to attack this question like this. El-Rufai has made his statement as an opposition member, and the government has responded. I am not in position to say what El-Rufai said is the truth, or what the government recounted with is the truth. However, when we look at global best practice, there is this term that has been bandied about, that is non-kinetic. Non-kinetic means instead of using bullets, guns, and aeroplanes, you use things like negotiation, you know things like community relations, you do things like reintegration of those that have decided to repent. Now, if you ask me directly whether as part of non-kinetics, giving money or paying bandits for price of peace, I would say straight away that is not what is meant by non-kinetics. But that is not to say I accept either the version by El-Rufai or the version by the government. But I want us to be very clear. Non-kinetics does not involve giving the bandits or the criminal money so that you can buy peace. Non-kinetics also does not involve giving him, paying ransom. If you did that one, that is just showing weakness. Also, non-kinetics does not involve making a promise to somebody who has killed, who has raped, that he has unconditional amnesty. I emphasize that unconditional amnesty. So all these three things, they are not found of non-kinetics as we have done. Now, whether what El-Rufai said is true, whether the counter from the government is true, what I'm saying, these are two versions that are out there. But I'm telling you professionally that's how it should be. Yeah. Yes. Non-kinetic is allowed, but not with these three things that I said.
How difficult is it to get the likes of Banditry? There are those who assume that these guys are still walking the streets.
Yes, obviously. So again, you see, sometimes when we talk about the non-kinetics and the kinetics, sometimes it's sequencing. How do you sequence them? Which comes first? At which time do you throw one and leave the other? Now, typically in an anti-banditry or a counter-insurgency operation, there are about 4 phases. The first phase is the initial phase. In the initial phase, you should concentrate on the kinetics. Concentrate on the kinetics so that you degrade the bad guys to such an extent that they will look for peace themselves. It is the non-kinetics, unless you have a great hold on the non-kinetics, on the kinetics, the non-kinetics are not going to succeed. The next phase is the mixed phase, where you introduce the non-kinetics while at the same time maintaining kinetics pressure on the bad guys. Then if you are succeeding in passing that phase, you can move to stabilization and then to state building. So the issue is, when you introduce non-kinetics, it should be at a time where you are doing it from a position of strength. Because if you bring it too early, it might backfire. Yeah.
So I look at it this way. It might be difficult because these guys sometimes, and some of the governors that I've interacted with have said to me, look, some of these guys are citizens, they are indigents, they are locals, they are part of the communities, they are embedded in the community. So it might be difficult to say you are, because they are being covered also by the local community, the local people, where they live, and they go, they attack, go back into those communities. There are those of these boundaries that are also far away. They come, they attack, they kidnap, they collect money, ransack communities, and go. The question, and the reason why I'm asking the question, how difficult is this to catch a bail authority that the government has been looking for, is that I thought we have some element of technology. I thought that some of these guys, and if you look at a documentary that reveals how the American government and security agents and elite squad flew into Nigeria and rescued an American citizen. Part of the strategy was to ping the phone that was used by the kidnappers, the terrorists. And that was one of the biggest errors made by these people, and that was how it led to their capture and the recovery of the American citizen on Nigerian soil. So I imagine that the technology that we have been talking about all these days, the drone that we have been talking, the satellites that we have been talking about, the tracking devices that we have been talking about, will do the work and be able to catch these elements that are running around killing innocent Nigerians. And that's why I'm asking, how difficult is it to be able to catch them?
Well, let me emphasize what you said. You know, this is what makes this kind of conflict very difficult for the security forces. The fact that the people, unless in few cases, you cannot find a place where you can say this is 100% bandit territory and there are no citizens. And that is the strength of the bandit or the insurgent. You know, he knows that he is with the people. And as a professional military, you always have to look at, while you are hunting the bad guys, you do not harm the good guys. So that is a very, very clear, you know, hamstring that the security forces have. Now, when you talk about, you talk about the capacity to track. Yes. Again, I don't want us to be, to jump before ourselves. We are not really at the level of countries like United States. We do have our own capacity, but I do not think. And again, even where you can localize where a criminal is, it is not only the localization. I give this example when I'm talking to some clients that have a CCTV in their room or in their houses and they live, but the CCTV is not linked to either a police station or all you are going to get is a picture. Just telling you a story that somebody entered and carried your TV or something like that. So the issue is, even if you localize, we have to talk of the issue of mobility. We have to talk the issue of terrain. I have heard several, whether it is the police, whether the military, saying some of this terrain is inhabitable and they do not have the mobility assets that will take them. So even if we are able to localize, and I said that localization, we are not at the stage of the United States that did this operation that came to Sokoto and carried their citizens. We are not at that level. Maybe we reach that level. But even if we reach, again, you have to have the reaction forces. Because if you do not have a standby force that will quickly react, that can quickly move over terrain, then, you know, you have the person is there, the person will be there until you lose track of him, and then he will disappear into the wilderness. So that is the problem we have. I want to, with due respect and without being immodest, there is tendency sometimes, because the military and the security forces, they don't come out and say their weaknesses. There is a tendency for the average Nigerian to think that whether our police, whether our military, that they are highly equipped or they have everything they have. With due respect, without speaking for them, and this is my own opinion, I don't think they have reached that stage. So there's a lot of capacity and equipment gap, even in terms of numbers. Nigeria is a very big country. Even as Nigeria is a big country, apart from the myriad of security problems we are having, as we are talking now, Nigeria is still sending peacekeepers, both police and military, to foreign countries. So you see that the challenge is very big. We really, the political masters, have to look like this. I like this story of hearing that government should declare state of emergency, even though this will be about the 10,000 times. Up-to time. Yes, that we are hearing. But we have to know, what does it mean when we say the government should, declare a state of emergency?
So now, Northwest is now the theater of operation now. It used to be in the Northeast.
No, the Northwest.
It's in the Northwest region of the country, and it's concerning. We've seen some quiet in Kaduna compared to what we've seen in the past. There are those who might debate that, but I mean, based on what is being reported and what is saying, it does look like there's some calm in Kaduna State. One will imagine the real reasons or the origin or the causes of this banditry. How worried are you when you compare how Boko Haram started and the ideological issues that led to it, and how diverse the orientation of these bandits are, and how they operate scattered everywhere? I mean, we understand that some of the terrorists operating in the northeast region, they have a unified, they have a common agenda, but these bandits don't seem to have one. They're more criminal in nature. That is what we hear. How worried are you in the nature and the DNA of these new of these banditry compared to what we've seen in Boko Haram activities in the northeast?
Yes, there is real fear that this will be metamorphosed into something bigger, like we're saying, though we don't hope that to happen. But what should the government do? What should the political masters do? You know, like you said, in the northeast, there is a commonality of interest, at least at the initial, where they think for some, unguided dogma that they are serving religion. Maybe they have that. But in the northwest and north central, where we have these bandits, I think it is purely criminal. However, being it criminal, at the beginning, they have tried to play on identity. What is identity? That, they are herders, that's commonality in economic activity, and they are Fulanis, and people are after them. So I think what the government, a part of the non-kinetic measure that should be is counter-narrative. We have to counter that narrative is that it's not as if the country is against Fulanis or is against herding and so on and so forth. Because once you allow that to fester, then you are giving them, an area where they can concentrate and even get future generations of bandits that are going to be there. So the government has to be very careful in trying to dissuade that, that agenda that this fight on them is against a particular group that is involved in one kind of economic activity, or based on their origin, or based on their ethnic grouping.
I'd like to ask you, are the governors in charge of their states, really?
Well, every country has its own, the way its security architecture is. The way our security, I've listened to the governor of Zamfara. I've seen him talking painfully. But then again, with due respect, I have to say he has to understand how Nigeria is organized in terms of security. Definitely, as we are now, the governors are called chief security officers of their states. But the way our security architecture is designed as of now, the police, the military officer that is serving, even the DSS officer, cannot take orders from a governor. You get the point? In fact, the only political person that a military man, a politician, the only politician that a military commander can take orders from now, as it is, as we have in Nigeria, is only the president and commander-in-chief. Any other person in between who is not in the uniform, I do not think any local commander will take orders from that person. That is the way we are organized.
Isn't that a problem?
Well, like I said, different countries, maybe this is what we have been operating. Maybe we should look at other alternatives, but as of now, that is what we operate. There are other countries that it is not like that. This brings us also to the issue of the state police. But with due respect, with what I heard Governor Lawal of Zamfara saying that, a certain group of soldiers, they have cited bandits and then they were called back. With what I know, in my 29 years of military service, I think the only person that can give any local commander, anywhere military commander, will be his immediate higher authority. If it's a battalion commander, he will be looking to the brigade commander. If it's the brigade commander, he will be looking to his GOC. The GOC will be looking to the chief of army staff. In between, with due respect, I would like to emphasize this. I do not see any civilian giving a local military commander to withdraw his forces. And I will also add, in the military training, I don't know, here I'm speculating because Governor did not give the full, background of this thing. Again, I will say it is not unheard of for military forces to be told to withdraw. In fact, in military tactics, you are taught attack and withdraw. There could be reasons. There could be, operational reasons that a force will be told to withdraw. That's supposing that order was given. So I do not see it completely, not knowing the whole background. It may not be something, a conspiracy of telling the people there may be some operational issues, even though I do not know for a certain. But what I'm saying, operational reasons could make a particular troop to be told not to. Again, when you look at the operation we are running in the North Central and the Northwest, honestly, it's a very mixed operation. What do I mean? There are different types of forces that are operating there. There is the pure military forces, there is DSS, which you mentioned, there is civil defense, there are even sometimes you say a combined team. So that means orders can come from different places. And at the same time, we have this non-kinetics, which in other words, it means there is a conversation going on with the bandits. So it could be, for example, here I'm speculating.
The complicity here, Group Captain, is that if they've sighted a bandit and they're about to attack, and they get an order to retrieve and withdraw from that scene, it infers complicity from the top.
Not necessarily, not complicity. Say order from the top. But what could make that order? I'm looking purely from an operational point of view. Yes, what I'm saying, there could be a time that if was about to attack, the higher commander will get certain information and they will tell them not to attack. But for you watching, what you see is that troops about to attack bandits and they are told to go. From your own point of view, that's what you know. It may look like complicity. But I'm saying it may not be complicity. However, I'm very careful here to say, I am not denying what Governor Doda said, but what I'm telling you is that in operations, that's why, in fact, immediately you are taught, just like you are taught attack, you are also taught withdrawal. There are times that you withdraw not as even running away, as a tactics that the time for that attack or even delay the attack, it could give in to you. It's possible, like I said, because there are different command structures in that area. Now let me probe further. Supposing the people that are doing this non-kinetics or negotiating with the bandits, maybe they are talking with certain bandits in that area, and there are people that have been captured that are in that area. If that information comes, for example, I'm giving as an example, I'm not saying that what happened, an order could be given, please don't attack. Because again, what we teach our military always is hit the bad guys without harming the good guys. A commander is supposed to make a proportionality judgment. If there are 5 bandits and they are holding 20 captives, kidnapped people, it doesn't make sense for you to rain bomb on them or to open fire on them. Because I know even the government or the governor will not be happy that you have killed 5 bandits, but in the same distance you have killed 30 innocent people.
And I will take you to the realm where you operated for a long time, and you know very too well, and it's in the skies. I take you to the theater of war. How close any of our aircraft? How close can they fly? How close can they see the ground in an armed support scenario without being sighted by the enemy? Do we have sophistication that you can fly as high, yet you can see the ground?
Well, modern technology has provided eyes for the pilot, not necessarily his own human eyes. What he can see from far away. There are equipments that can give you even as far back as 10,000 feet above ground. You can see with granular. But again, I want to know people, when we say sensors, by using sensors on the aircraft, sensors are like this phone. What I mean, you have the China phone, you have the iPhone. So depending on what you have, of aircraft, depending on the kind of sensors you have, and also depending on the weather, depending on the foliage, that is what you are going to get. There are sensors that will show you just a group of people, but not enough for you to know those people, are they women, are they men? Then again, there are sensors that will give you the granular, picture of this people, so that you can even see what the person is carrying.
Do we have the capacity now in the military that you fly over 30,000 feet above the ground, and yet you can see the ground?
Well, you can see, you can, for example, there are some heat-seeking sensors. What they can tell you there's a body of people around the area because their body will emit it.
Yeah.
That heat, the sensor can pick it. It may even, but then again, the heat you are picking may be cows. Because it may not necessarily tell you that these are people. Even if it tells you these are people, it does not tell you exactly whether they are Boko Haram or they are this. So that is why in the training they give the military, they tell them to, interpolate various sources of intelligence. You get the point? Including human intelligence, including ground forces that are there, including even having, informants that are within the community.
Yeah.
Because to be honest with you, depending on how high you are, depending on the kind of sensor you have on your aircraft, you may not be able to say with 100% certainty. You will see a group of people. But what are they? Are they farmers? Are they hunters? Are they even what is complicating even the issue now, almost every state, they have the vigilante groups. So even seeing somebody carrying a gun does not, again, tell you that he's a bad guy. Because it could be, because we've had those kind of incidents. You've read the report. It could be the state-owned, people that are carrying. So the issue is a combination of different sources for you to combine.
And I'm asking this question because, as an expert, I wanted to take the minds of my viewers into the field. And I imagine that we have not gotten to that point that every ground operation is supported by a wing of the operation. Is that the case?
Not every, again, with due respect, again, we have to, I mean, the people in the Ministry of Defense, the politicians, they can tell you how many aircraft did the Air Force have on a single day? How many fronts are they fighting? So again, I want people to understand, because it is good to put pressure on the government. When we say we call on our security, it should be a function of what did you give them, what do they have? I do not think the armed forces, they have enough capacity, that's in terms of equipment and numbers, to cover all this area. So it's not every operation. It's not every operation
that is backed by...
That is backed. And so many reasons. It could be availability of the aircraft. It could be weather. You get the point? It could be mechanical.
But I thought Super Tucanos are strong like that they could fly even in some of the toughest weather situations.
No, I do not see the Tucano as an all-weather aircraft. However, it has its advantages in that it can fly low. You are talking about recognizing. It's, as of now, I think it is one of the aircraft that has capacity to fly low, and then it is not too fast. Because again, when you are doing close air support for the ground forces, you don't need a very fast aircraft. You need a fast aircraft, but not too fast. A too fast will not do. The one that flies too high cannot come down. There are certain jets that cannot come too low. You don't need that. Because
how quiet is are the blades of the Super Tucano? If they fly as low on this roof, can we hear them?
You will hear it definitely. It's not a stealth kind of aircraft. It's not. We don't have that. All our aircrafts, they have noise to varying degrees.
So the enemy can hear
they can hear them. But then, of course, when you talk again, for how long will they run, or how fast can they run? If the aircraft is top of them, the possibility of them running away is very, very minimal. You cannot outrun an aircraft now, in any case. And again, you have to know this Tucano, since you are talking about Tucano, the Tucano can engage a target, more than 6 kilometers away. Yes, once it's identified,
and when you lock the arm and you deploy, from that distance is sharp and the precision is almost 100%, isn't it?
Yes, it has what is called Advanced Precision Kill Weapon System, APKWS. It adds that accuracy. But again, accuracy depends now. The people you identify,
on the level
are they bandits?
Intelligence,
Yes, are they bandits or this thing? Because you may get accurate hit on villagers again. You get the point I'm saying? So this is what makes it difficult. They are fighting a terrain where it is mixed. So a lot of tactics, a lot of training, a lot of cross-referencing is needed so that you don't have tudumbiri, so that you don't have ram. You get the point? Because again, like I said, the people have also adapted. They know their strength is embedding in the distance. But a professional military must always, that's what it makes it more difficult. But the professional military must have at the back of his mind, I want to hit the bad guys without...
The reason why I'm asking you this question is also the fact that the tough terrain in which our military, especially the ground forces,
especially in plateau area,
even in the forests, in the Beningwari forest, and in the thick forest in Zamfara, where these guys use the caves, the forest to hide and all of that. You need some stealth and some very sophisticated weapons too. And a lot of the times they say, in fact, you cannot even access some of this terrain because they are not motorable, and that's why they go on motorbikes. So how far can you go on motorbikes? That's why I was asking whether or not the air forces and the air troops can be of an advantage to the ground troops in this war. And unfortunately, the insider information is that some of the Super Tucanos they sold to us under Buhari government are almost carcass. They stripped most of the sophistication in those Super Tucano outside. Trump sold us carcass. That's what we got.
No, I don't think that will be stretching it.
No, but I mean, that's information, especially for those who know, who say the unfortunate thing that we got the aircraft, but essential elements of those aircraft were taken out of it.
Not necessarily taken out. You see, what we have to understand, again, that is why there are so many things that are involved in this thing. America as a superpower, as which countries like Nigeria cannot do without. Because I hear some reason, why do we buy from them? The truth is that if you want some of the best equipment, you have to go to America. You get the point? But again, under their own laws, the problem is that they have certain laws that decide what they give to a country, even with your money.
Like the
You get the Leahy law. And in part of their trade, out of their trade tricks, they may give you, you may buy the equipment, but they may decide that they are going to be giving you the consumables and periodic, depending to them how you utilize the aircraft they sold to you. So this is where it is. But to say that they sold carcass, I will not. But then, if they can, if they are in position based on the contract we signed with them, they are in position to delay maybe the bringing of one part, and of course, any aircraft is as good as all the parts. There's a part that you will remove. Then the Tucano is no longer useful for you.
We need to go on a break now, Group Captain. But tell me this before we go on break: if we really want to prosecute this war using the power and the steadiness of air support, what kind of equipment should we be going for?
Well, you see, equipment of...
Mind you, the terrain that we say we are, because these bandits are really giving us a lot of problem. So if the terrain are that difficult, and it looks like to me now that we need some level of sophistication of technology and air support. What kind of sophistication of equipment should we be looking at?
Sorry to disappoint you, but there's no silver bullet aircraft that you can see if you buy. You see, every aircraft has its advantages. If you are talking of a fast aircraft, it has advantages. If you are talking of a helicopter that can hover, it has advantages. If you are talking of UAV that lasts a lot of time, all these things, they have their advantages and disadvantages. So unfortunately, I always tell people, like, you know, a modern armed forces should be like the wife of a rich man. When you go to the wife of a rich man's kitchen, Mr. Sheun, you will see different kind of knives. Each knife has its own use. So that is how aircraft and even you know, land equipment or even maritime equipment are. Each equipment has its own strong points. They have what you can use it for and what you cannot use it for. And it is not so it's a combined operation. It's not in all operational, you know, circumstances that you can bring an aircraft to come and drop bombs. There are certain areas where you have to go with the ground forces. There are some areas that you cannot use air power, but you have to rely on ground forces. But then again, there are other areas where the ground forces will say they need air cover. But above all, we should understand that ours is not Air Force in the mold of United States Air Force or German Air Force. There are still things that, you know, that the Air Force will leave. When you ask me to say what aircraft, again, I emphasize there is no one silver bullet aircraft that you, again, because people have tendency, when they heard that we are about the Tucano, they have tendency to throw, I've seen that joke, okay, they said Tucano, we are about Tucano, we have not finished. Nobody promised that, and no military man will tell you, buy this aircraft for me, if you buy it, it's finished. All right. Because there are others.
Give me a moment. Yeah. We'll go on a break. But there are fundamental issues here which I would like to ask the professional here. And he's given us an insight onto how we can prosecute, end this war, and perhaps chart a way forward. Group Captain Sadiq Shehu is still with me, and we'll be right back after this break. All right, then. Thank you so much, everyone, for staying with us on the program. So our closing moment with Group Captain Sadiq Shehu, who is a retired military officer and a very active security consultant. Thank you so much, Group Captain, for your time tonight on the program. Yeah. My agenda on this program is I do not want to go away without talking about solutions. We talk about problems all the time. But in my training is to also look at it as, at the end of the day, what is the bottom line and what is the solution? Now, let's talk about the solution now, shall we? You heard what the governor said.
You heard him loud and clear.
And you could see frustration. Can you put back the text on the screen? And what the governor says calls for a lot of attention, and it really in the heart of our security architecture. Look at it, Group Captain, what the governor said. He said, let me tell you something. I swear to God, whatever bandits or wherever bandits are, we know, I know, I can show you on the phone wherever they are. I know, but we can do nothing. If I am the one in power to give the directive, I swear the issue will come to an end in 2 months. That is the governor of Zamfara. He went further to say, but it is my duties and responsibility, and I did, buying vehicles, right? And he said, but they can only be directed from Abuja, right? I swear to Allah, there was a time I shed tears. We see them and a need for them, that security operatives, to be there. But it went further to say people, but they won't until they get directives from Abuja. This is a sore point in all of it. How can we, shouldn't the governor be in the loop, in the fight, when there is an operation of that magnitude?
Now, you have pointed probably maybe the problem we have in the operation. But first, with respect to the governor of Zamfara, in military science, that's what they call fighting a war by preconception. What do I mean? Before you start the war, you think that it's going to take 2 days. It is not too long ago when we heard that the mighty Russia was going to fight with Ukraine. Nobody thought that war was going to last more than, it's like it's going to be over, but we are still at it. It's the same thing. With due respect, he stretches it a bit when he says if he's given the chance to, to command the armed forces, if I understand what he's saying, that within 2 months he will go. Now, even if you know where the bandits are, we started this program on the fact that this kind of people, there's no, in the whole, whether I said in the northeast or northwest, I don't think there's any area that you can see, if you are a ground force commander or an air force commander, that if I come over that area, all the people there 100% are bad guys. And then I can go unleash any kind of mayhem.
But they have their havens.
But in the northeast, no, I don't think.
Just like El-Rufai will say, bomb them all,
no,
kill them all.
I don't agree with you.
You don't think we should kill them all?
Not kill them all, but how do you bomb them all?
Oh, you see where they are hiding and you bomb them. We have these bombs, don't we?
Sheun, if you are talking about the terrain in the northwest and the north central, I want to believe there is hardly a place that you will find that is clearly for you, this is bandit area, and then you can unleash. If you talk about the northeast, even that, if not the Tumbus areas, or the Lake Chad Basin area, or the infamous Zamfara forest, I think these are the only areas where you can see anybody you see there. So this is what makes it very difficult. So with respect to Governor Dauda Lawal, even if he is the commander-in-chief, honestly, he cannot say within 2 months he's going to finish because they're going to bomb. I also disagree with Nasser El-Rufai who said bomb them. That is not how modern military is. And people are forgetting. You know, this kind of bombing anyhow could also even alienate us from the international community. It could alienate us from partners who might deny us weapons. All these are things that you have to wonder. And in any case, there are humanitarian imperatives. There is professionalism. When the Americans, even though I continue to say we are not there, when they are taking out Osama bin Laden, as bad as he is, they didn't go and destroy the whole town. You know, they found a way.
That's because they wanted to capture him.
They to kill him. They killed him. They didn't capture him. But it was a surgical strike.
There are a lot of stories around why he was killed anyways. But I mean, they were in the compound.
So, but the point I am saying, we are fighting in our territory where these people mix with local populations. You cannot afford collateral damage. And I must warn, it's not that international humanitarian or law forces collateral damage must zero, but it's an aspect of proportionality. If you are the governor, Sheun, and you call the military to come and help you, and they say 5 bandits have entered, I don't know where your town is, Ijebode. Let's assume you are from Ijebode. Ijebode, for example, by the last census, it has 10,000 people, and bandits have entered there. Will you say bomb them? Certainly that will be unprofessional, that will be inhuman. However, if on the other hand, you have 50 bandits entering a farm, and as of the time you want to strike them, there is one farmer that has come very early to the farm. International humanitarian law accepts that because it makes the proportion of what good are you going to cause as against what harm, though inadvertently.
So, but good Captain, the man says, I can see them on my phone. The technology is there.
If he sees them in a village or in a market, because when I listen to BBC Hausa, these bandits, they even go to market. Supposing Governor Dauda sees them, they have entered the market, and his commander-in-chief, what is he going to do? Bomb the market? It is not as easy as it is like that. I can understand his frustration.
Yeah, if you read within the lines, it tells you something that there is something that is fundamental that is not allowing us, and it's about whether this thing is embedded in the system that is not allowing us to be able to fight this war together.
I don't want to go into. I can see where the governor is tilting, but honestly, like I said, I don't want to delve. Let's face it. He has his differences with the former governor of the state, who is now a minister. Like I said, my province is security, not really politics. I know they are not on good terms, and he could say anything. But I'm looking at it professionally, and I'm trying to appeal to anybody who's watching the war. If you are not a military man, you may not understand. Understand the trend that is going. It is not an all place where you can go under. If not, you know, the consequences.
We're totally out of time, good captain. But if you were President Bola Tinubu, he also declared state of emergency on insecurity in Nigeria in 30 seconds. If you were President Bola Tinubu, to show doings like in the local parlance, if to show workings and doings, what would you do immediately?
I will immediately, when they say state of emergency, that means all impediments of getting resources, whether it is in men, whether it's equipment for the armed forces, should be lifted. It means you should concentrate on security. You can even tell any other non-related thing to wait. That is the actual meaning of state of emergency.
Are we on that point now?
We are not, because this is about the 50th time we're hearing, even right from the time of Buhari, declare emergency. But I think it has even become just a cliche. People are just mentioning it, declaring emergency, but we're not declaring emergency. There should be massive recruitment. There should be massive, buying of equipment, which I said the armed forces are not fully equipped as they ought to be. There should be increase in the budget, because even in the budget, we are not spending proportionately. We are not spending as far as
Good Captain, we are totally out of time. Good Captain Sadiq Shehu, a retired military officer, the man who has flown several aircraft and bombed several
aircraft.
Good to see you. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
Well, I salute tonight, as always, all our gallant officers, those who risk their lives every day fighting to keep our nation together. But there is a lot of war to be done. We're still going to war, and we're in war for. Let us kill them all and bring home the trophy. Keep our people safe. That's our program, everyone. I'm sure Kimale. God bless Nigeria.